I can't stop thinking about the ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake. The game itself was amazing, but that ending just blew me away, and the possibilities are so exciting. My non-spoiler thoughts of the game are that the gameplay was brilliant, I much preferred it to the turn-based battles of the original, the graphics and music were amazing, and aside from some bits that dragged in the middle of the game, I loved playing it. So this is a spoiler video, so if you haven't finished Final Fantasy VII Remake, I recommend you do that and then come back. Okay, let's get into it. Final Fantasy VII Remake generally follows the story of Final Fantasy VII, but really expands on those opening hours from the original game. Cloud being the main character, it did a really good job of conveying that there's something wrong with him. He comes across as someone trying to act normal when there's clearly some problems. He came across as more likable and sympathetic in the remake compared to the original. The ending is where the game really subverted expectations. After escaping Shinra Tower, it seemed like the game was over, when suddenly they went into a battle with the Whispers of Fate, and then, unexpectedly, a battle with Sephiroth. The team beat Fate, which resulted in a couple of outcomes. Firstly, the future can be changed.
We'll be changing more than fate itself. If we succeed, if we win, we'll be changing ourselves.
Sephiroth says to Cloud, "Let us defy destiny together," which implies the ending and events of the original game may change.
That which lies ahead does not yet exist. Cloud, lend me your strength. Let us defy destiny together.
This is exciting because it implies that maybe Aerith won't die this time round. It could also be Square Enix messing with us, and maybe she will still die, but it seems like there's hope that it won't happen. They could go in a completely different direction with how the story unfolds, and I find that really exciting. The second big outcome of beating Fate is to do with Zack. Zack was a first-class soldier and Cloud's friend. If you haven't played Crisis Core, you really should, because that tells Zack's story, and it's also a brilliant game. We see in Final Fantasy VII Remake that he's fighting a big group of Shinra soldiers, and the surprising part is that after Cloud and company change fate, we see an alternative timeline where Zack actually survives.
Boy, oh boy. The price of freedom is steep.
Zack's death sets into motion Cloud's journey, which launches the events of Final Fantasy VII. Zack surviving would totally change all those events. Cloud may be less broken. The pair will still need to fight Sephiroth and Shinra, but I wonder if they get involved with Avalanche at all. It seems like too much to pack into Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. I wonder, and I hope, that we instead see a Crisis Core sequel with Zack as the lead in this alternative timeline. He's much more likable than Cloud. I would love to see him get his own game. Crisis Core was on PSP. It would be very cool to see a new Zack game on the Switch. Probably smaller scale to Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, because that will likely come to PS5, and that could be years off. So a new Final Fantasy VII story with Zack could be a great way to tide us over until we see Final Fantasy Remake Part 2. I was never fully sure, and I don't know if it's been definitively explained, what the title Crisis Core refers to. I assume the name comes from that it's the events that triggered Cloud's mental health crisis, or maybe because it tells the story of how Sephiroth became evil, which led to all the events of Final Fantasy VII. Either way, I think they could use the title Crisis Core 2, and given how this game is pretty beloved by Final Fantasy VII fans, I think it would generate a lot of hype. I would prefer though if they changed the voice actor for Zack. The original voice actor in Crisis Core did an amazing job. The voice in Final Fantasy VII Remake was fine, but didn't come across as likable. I really hope I'm right because I want Zack to have another game. He is one of, maybe my most, favourite character from all the Final Fantasy games. He's a great hero, and despite all the crap he goes through in Crisis Core, he remains a hero until the end. Whatever's to come, Final Fantasy VII Remake was just so good that they've earned my trust and excitement. I just hope we aren't waiting too long to learn more. So guys, did you play Final Fantasy VII Remake? And what did you think of that ending? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.